I'm Patrick Eakes. I am the chair of the MAP committee and your Rotary International Director-elect. I want to welcome all of you who are membership champions to tonight's webinar. We're excited you've joined us because it means that you want to see your Rotary Club grow. The goal of this membership action plan team is to establish membership growth as a catalyst to fulfill Rotary International's vision statement. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. The realization came that while some clubs are succeeding in growing membership, many clubs need a plan they can easily follow that is immediately actionable and is backed by real-time data. The Membership Action Plan, or MAP, offers a multi-year, data-driven, step-by-step plan to help our clubs achieve consistent, moderate membership growth. We know that by growing your clubs, you create lasting change in your communities. These monthly sessions will provide fundamental techniques to help all our clubs grow membership, grow impact in your community, grow fellowship opportunities, and grow support of our Rotary Foundation. Please note that these methods are proven to work, but they aren't intended to replace successful processes in your club. In fact, we want to hear what is working for you, and along the way, we'll be finding ways for you to share and brag about your successes too. Our rewards program this year is based on two criteria. The first is completing action items that will help you put your club on a path to growth. On this slide, you can see the first action items that were shared in the first two MAP webinars of this 2023-24 Rotary year. I hope you've already completed these action items, but if not, there's still time to complete them. The second criterion is to achieve membership growth this year. Of course, if you implement the action items effectively, you'll be well on your way to membership growth. If you have any questions regarding the awards program, you can put them in the chat box. Last month, I promised that we would have a special guest tonight. I'm pleased to welcome Rotary International President-elect Stephanie Yurchik. Stephanie is here to provide greetings and to share the story of her club's path to irresistibility.
Hello, family of Rotary in Zones 33 and 34. Director Jeremy has allocated 5 minutes for me, but you know how passionate I am about membership growth. I can talk a lot longer, but I will be brief and concise. First, thank you for highlighting membership growth with the Zones 33 and 34 Membership Action Plan. You know it's a very simple concept. We are a membership organization that does service. The more hands we have, the more service we can do. We can make more of membership growth by bringing the 4 priorities of our action plan into our clubs, assessing and measuring the impact of the service we do, reaching out and meeting people where they are by creating new ways to come into our organization. In fact, I am so very proud of how we have changed since 2016. Our Council on Legislation created new models for us, our e-clubs, our satellite clubs, our passport clubs. So we really are providing ways for people to come into Rotary that may not have been attractive to them before. We can make our Rotary experiences participant-centered, and we can find new ways to be innovative and flexible. In other words, our action plan can help make or keep our clubs simply irresistible. When our clubs and Rotary experiences are irresistible, membership issues will take care of themselves. Those who are in our clubs won't want to leave, and those who are on the outside will want to join us because they'll see us having a great time while creating lasting change. Let me give you an example of how using the action plan re-energized and grew my own club, the Rotary Club of McMurray, PA. Several years ago, we stopped and took a look at ourselves and decided you are missing people in this community. We met Wednesdays at noon, so we couldn't attract teachers. They were in the classroom. We couldn't attract medical professionals. They had patients. We couldn't attract some retailers because they had customers. So the first thing we did was move our club meeting to a morning meeting and instantly attracted 3 new members. And we didn't lose any. But beyond that, we started to listen to people in our community and found out that there were folks who wanted to serve, but they just didn't want to come to a meeting. So we adopted one of the satellite models called Impact. And so the Impact members go out twice a month into our community and they do service. They go to our food bank and our pantries and sometimes to our senior centers. They choose where they go to serve. And then if they want to get together after that for soft drinks or pizza, whatever, that's fine. Now we invite them to our weekly meetings, but they don't come. They don't want to go to meetings. We do invite them to our socials, and they usually come there because we have alcohol. And we also know that because they're not meeting, they're not learning about Rotary. So every 6 to 8 weeks, we have a special evening called Pizza, Beer, and Rotary. We invite the members, they come, and only 1 or 2 Rotarians will show up from our Legacy Club, and we talk about important issues in Rotary. We talk about how we were founded, and we talk about things like our Council on Legislation, and that's how we are mentoring the new Rotarians and helping them to learn more about the organization. But I tell you this story because in a year with our inductions, we went from being a club of 34 to a club of 58. Think about that. Think about how long it takes us to attract that kind of number to our legacy clubs. So starting new clubs really is the quickest way to grow our membership and strengthen our organization. Let me end by saying that I need your help. Get your club to work with the action plan. Use it as a program. Divide the club into 4 groups and ask each group to talk about that priority for about 20 minutes or so. You will get useful feedback and you will create buy-in. Even if you don't use a single thing that a member says, the fact that you gave them an opportunity to be part of the process is what creates the buy-in. So let's work together. And let's make every club in zones 33 and 34 simply irresistible. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, President Stephanie. As you just heard, Stephanie is passionate about irresistible clubs, the topic of tonight's webinar and last month's webinar. Stephanie recognizes that Rotary's action plan provides a roadmap to irresistibility, and you'll hear more about that this evening. Stephanie also shared with us how her traditional Rotary Club transformed into a larger, more vibrant, and more impactful force in her community by adding an innovative club. In this case, McMurray Rotary added a companion club, a special type of satellite club that plans to stay attached and closely aligned with the traditional club that is its sponsor. Thank you, Stephanie, for your message and setting the stage for the rest of tonight's webinar. I'm now pleased to turn the stage over to Zone 34 Rotary Coordinator, Mike Darragh, who will guide us through the rest of tonight's program.
Thank you, Patrick. Last month, we heard 2 speakers, Tracy Hajir and Eric Johnson. They had such great ideas that we asked them to split their presentations into 2 webinars, last month's and today's. As club presidents, they've created club cultures that engage current members and attract new ones. They'll tell us how they developed plans to provide members what the members want and how they turn those plans into energetic and fun clubs. Tracy and Eric are in 2 different situations. Tracy's in Maryland and was president of a 35-year-old club. Eric is the charter president of a new club in Florida. What they have in common is the vision, the wisdom, and the energy to turn their clubs into magnets for Rotarians. And in other words, they created irresistible clubs. Our first presenter tonight is Tracy Hajir, the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Wicomico County in Maryland. I encourage you to take to heart Tracy's comments as she chats with Zone 33 Rotary Coordinator Terry Weaver about how she adapted to her members' needs by creating a great meeting experience.
Another element of Rotary's action plan is increase our ability to adapt. That strikes me as another piece of making your club irresistible, upgrading the meeting experience. And that almost always includes adapting. Can you tell us how you upgraded your meeting experience?
Okay, sure. I should explain that our club meets 1 hour every Tuesday and we serve lunch. I needed to work on upgrading our meeting experiences. One of the feedback I received from members was that the biggest enticement of joining our club compared to the other 2 Rotary clubs in our city was that they could participate during their lunch hour. There was a bit of frustration from some members when the meetings took too long and extended past the hour. They were uncomfortable standing up and leaving during the presenter's talk, and that's understandable. So I took better control of the agenda and I created an environment where everything was timed. I worked with the speakers on determining what actual time they needed to present, and I would structure the eating lunchtime based on that need. I began the meeting precisely at noon with a Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. Most of the time, we didn't even sing the weekly song. I got some feedback from many members that felt it wasn't necessary, but there was a member or 2 that felt like they wanted to. So if they wanted to do the song, that was fine, but it wasn't necessary. I also kept the announcements brief and included more information in weekly emails I sent out on Mondays. We ended precisely at 1 p.m. unless the members wanted a longer participation by asking more questions, and that was entirely their choice. And I noted that it was time for everyone to leave, but if they wanted to stay a little longer, they were more than welcome. We also have an amazing program committee. We really made an effort to bring in a diverse group of speakers from areas such as healthcare, government agencies, university speakers, local businesses, book authors, and several nonprofit agencies. We felt that that in particular helped us direct our community donations. It provided us with needs we may not have known existed before. And we made an effort to have at least 2 field trips per year. We've had tours of the Wallops Space Center, the local Junior Achievement Center, which by the way, won a national award in excellence. And we've had a tour of our local NAB Research Center that provides a historical perspective of our area, among other interesting things. And those are some of the things we try to do to keep our members engaged and our meetings interesting.
Thanks, Tracy. I really enjoyed hearing how you've made your meetings flow efficiently by focusing on what's of interest to all members. And you take the time to plan it all out carefully so it comes together flawlessly. One of the 4 pillars of Rotary's action plan is to increase the ability to adapt. And Tracy's learned what her members want and adapted the meetings to match. Her club's shown dramatic growth as a result, and that's a key step to becoming an irresistible club. Our next speaker started with a brand new club and created something amazing. Eric Johnson's the president of Safety Harbor Noon Rotary Club in Florida. Listen as he talks about this whole way of creating an irresistible club with past Zone 34 Rotary Coordinator George Robertson Burnett about how his club has expanded by focusing on visitors and how that makes an irresistible meeting for everybody.
Talking about expanding your reach, you're not only do you have a lot of guests, but they also appear to be central to the meeting's purpose. Is that intentional, Eric?
It's very intentional, because I feel deep inside me that your regular weekly meetings should be for your guests. It's the chance to show off your club. It's the chance for that guest to come in and say like, wow, I can be really involved in something here. The regular meetings are not for your members. Your members already know what your club does. Your members know the opportunities there are to engage in the community. Your members know how fun it is. But the guests, what's the guest going to walk away with? The guest really needs to see and hear everything that your club does and can do in the community so that they leave saying, oh yeah, I want to be involved in that. The guest, so if you have a meeting and you're talking about in your club meeting, like you don't have a speaker and you're not intentional about having somebody come in and really wow the meeting. And so if your whole meeting is involved in a committee meeting of your upcoming fundraiser. So you're spending your whole meeting talking about, okay, who's going to be bringing the booze wagon? Who's going to be setting up the tent? Who's going to be signing in people and all this stuff. If your whole meeting is spent on something that should be done in a committee meeting outside of the meeting, what's the guest thinking? The guest is going to be bored to death in that meeting. You don't want to bore your guest. You want to wow your guest. And one of the things that we do in our meetings is in the slideshow, I have recently in Rotary. That's the slide. We show everything that we've done in the past week or two, all the socials that we do, all the sermon opportunities that we do. There's pictures on the screen. Recently in Rotary, we did the road cleanup. Recently in Rotary, we volunteered at the domestic women's shelter. Recently in Rotary, we brought teacher supplies. So what does that do? It does two things, because people love to see their picture on the screen. Your members like to see that they were noticed, right? So you have recently in Rotary, oh, my picture's up there on the screen, right? So your member feels like they're validated for the service opportunity they give. They gave a lot of their time. You're recognizing your member for that. But then also, what does it do? It shows your guests, oh, so they're not just, they are practicing what they preach. I hear them talking about the opportunities to get involved in the community. I hear them talking about the social opportunities that they're going to provide me to meet people. But now I see it. I see what they're doing, because now, you're up there on the screens. You're showing your guests, you're showing your community what you are doing in your meetings and outside of your meetings.
That's great, Eric. And it certainly was very effective to see that up on the screens. Could you just tell me what FOMR is?
FOMR, kind of a funny thing, because, again, our meetings are so out there and crazy. People started missing the meetings, and they would text me like, I missed Rotary. I missed it today. What happened in the meeting? So I was like, you got FOMR, don't you? It's like, you don't have fear of missing out. You have fear of missing Rotary. So now we have a whole thing of hashtag fear of missing Rotary, FOMR. People will call me, I had FOMR today. What happened in the meeting? So that's kind of a fun little thing that we've created.
Never heard that before, but, great idea. So, Eric, the pace of your meetings is very fast and energetic, and actually it's more like a production than a meeting. What was your thought process in creating the meeting like that?
When I had the opportunity to start the club and I could create something from the start, from fresh, I really wanted to have a big mindset. So I didn't know if we were going to start our club with 5 people, if we were going to start our club with 15 people. But I knew in the back of my mind, and everything that we did in that meeting and everything we did for the production of it, for the audio, video, for the sound, for everything, was as a club of 100 people. So we started with that big, massive mindset, and nothing was going to keep us down from growing as fast as we could and getting to that 100 people. We grew in the first year of our club to 62 members in 1 year. And we were one of the fastest growing clubs in North America. And it was so exciting. We had such big momentum that we created. And when you create something like that, people want to be a part of it.
So, and you certainly just don't talk the talk, because when I was over at your club, I say you inducted 6 members that day, which was absolutely fabulous. So congratulations on that. So we're going to hand it back now.
Wow, I love that. Eric has created a bunch of FOMers. That's FOMR, people who have a fear of missing Rotary. Just like Tracy, his club concentrates on a fast-paced meeting with lots of opportunities for members and visitors to be engaged and inspired. And he's looked ahead to the future so the club has the resources to grow right now and can be even more effective as a larger, more impactful club in the future. Next, we return to Tracy as she talks about getting everybody engaged in service.
Tracy, back to enhancing participant engagement. One way to do that is to upgrade the service project experience, to come up with multiple projects where members show up and work together. Can you tell us about some of the things you did to accomplish that, to enhance your members' experience at a service project?
Absolutely. I used to be the service project coordinator as well as secretary, and I did that for several years. And there are some projects we've had in the queue, but I found that it was mostly the same members over and over that go to these different projects. So I decided that I would bring more projects into our meetings. And we did already have a few, but I decided to bring more. And what we did was we would prepare some baskets for local charities for different occasions. Like, for example, for Thanksgiving, we would make baskets of food products, and then several members would deliver them to the agency, and then they would disperse the baskets. We would also do that for Easter baskets for an after-school program. And then the one that I created was we started doing hygiene bags for local homeless shelters. And I found that members really appreciated this. Many of them couldn't participate in the community events, but this gave them a sense of participation and well-being, I thought. We also had opportunities to combine community service and social occasions. We have 8 little free libraries that were built at a member's local workshop. Some members helped build the units, others painted, and many brought in books to fill the libraries until the libraries became self-sufficient. We continue to maintain the libraries. If one becomes broken, one of our members will go out, pick it up, repair it, take it back to the location. And I myself personally monitor them to make sure that there are enough books and to remove any inappropriate material. And it's a very rewarding project. And periodically during meetings, people will bring in bags of books they want to donate. One of our members is the manager of a local sports team. And one event, he will give a discounted ticket if you bring in a book, and he then donates those books to our little library funds. So that's another resource that we have to continue with this project. So it covers all aspects of our community. So those are some of the examples that we did to upgrade our service project experience, and they were very well received.
Thanks, Tracy. So if we can't get busy members to our outside service projects, we can bring the projects to them during the club meeting time. So you adapt so everybody can take part. Great idea. Eric Johnson has our final segment tonight, and he talks about engaging members, but it's not just engaging them to do service for others. We also need to reach out to our own members when they have problems.
So Eric, one of the things I noticed at your club was how valued your members and prospective members felt. What is it that you do to create that great feeling?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, and I think it's so important that we make sure that our members have that sense of belonging. And one of the things that I tell my club almost every Wednesday is that if we don't take care of each other, if we don't take care of the needs of our members in our club, then there's no way we're going to be able to take care of the community and be effective in doing that. We have to be a strong core. We have to be a strong family before we can have the strength to go out and impact the community in an effective way. So some of the things that I do to make our members feel valued is that every week after our meeting, I take our sign-in sheet that's right here. You'll be able to see this right here. There's our sign-in sheet, right? So I go and I see, okay, who wasn't there? Mike. Mike wasn't there today. Hey, Mike, we missed you today at the meeting. I hope you're doing well. Here's a couple events that are coming up. Hope to see you next week. I go down every person that missed that day. After 2 weeks, if a person misses 2 weeks in a row, not only are they getting the messages from me every week, but then our retention specialist for under our membership chair is also reaching out to them because she has it in green and red in her little spreadsheet. If they miss 2 meetings, then they're getting reached out to from her. So the member, and this, again, this is so important, you guys, the member is hearing from the president that they were missed, and then they're hearing from the retention specialist. But then also the other thing that I do is I go down in our guest sign-in sheet. I don't know how well you can see it. There's our guest sign-in sheet, right? Look at all the guests we had last week. All these guests at the meeting last week. Every guest is getting a message from me as the president. Here's what I send out to them. This is exactly what I text them. Hey, Ron, Eric Johnson from the Rotary Club of Safety Harbor Noon here. I'm so glad you came to the Rotary today. I hope you enjoyed the meeting. You felt welcomed and inspired, because that's what we want to do, right? Every meeting, we want to inspire those guests that came. We want to inspire them so much that they have FOMO if they miss the next week, and that they come the next week. So it's so important. The other thing that we do is we created what's called a Sunshine Committee. Our Sunshine Committee is there just specifically to take care of the members. When I get the phone call from so-and-so, hey, my mom's in the hospital. Hey, I'm in the hospital. They're visited in the hospital. They're sent flowers. They're sent a card. No member from our club has ever gone unnoticed for having something that's going on in their life that they need some kind of more attention to. And that's so important. Again, it's making your members feel valued, making your members feel important, so that again, they want to engage in your club and they want to come back and they want to be a part of what you're doing. I know there's probably a lot of clubs that are doing it, but take it up a notch. How can you be more effective in taking care of your club members?
So thanks for that, Eric. Rotary has a tradition of service above self, and you're a very modern, free-thinking club. How important is service to your members and to your ability to increase your impact?
One of the things that I talk about every single week in our meeting is the opportunities that we're going to provide our members to serve in the community. And then again, our meetings are all about our guests, right? So we're preaching to the guests that they're going to be given the opportunities to serve. And if you think about this, Rotary right now should be exploding with members that want to join their club, because what do we have 3 years ago that shut the whole world down? COVID shut the whole world down, right? People lost their connection to the community. People lost their connection to charities that they serve with because all the charities shut down. I'm one of them. My job was working for an organization connecting to charities. I got furloughed because every single charity shut down. I couldn't even do my job. So what do we have right now? We have the perfect opportunity for Rotary clubs to bridge that gap between people in the community that have the desire to serve, that want to serve, and here you have Rotary. So Rotary, we already know how to do service opportunities. We already know how to create opportunities for people to serve. So now all we got to do is say, hey, here's the serving opportunity here. If you're out in the community, you want to engage and you want to get back connected again to those organizations that you used to serve with, join us, because we're already doing it again. So Rotary right now is the perfect time for Rotary clubs all over the world to grow and to connect again and get those people that you knew were. So how do you do that? One of the things that you strategically you can do, you can go to events and you can look at the people that are setting up the events and the people that are staying after the events and serving to clean up, and be like, wow, those people, they make a great Rotarian. So go grab them. Be like, hey, do you want to come and join our Rotary Club? Because we're going to give you opportunities to serve just like you're doing right now. That's just one idea that we do in our club.
Hey, thanks, Eric. Loving your energy for service.
Eric said something pretty profound. I hope I get this right. If we don't take care of each other in our club, there is no way we can take care of our community. Building the connections to create a caring Rotary family takes intentional actions. You then need to feed the family with inspiring meetings. And then you engage your members, your visitors, and your community with service that's adapted so everyone can take part and make a difference. As Eric says, Rotary has a great opportunity right now. People are looking for that connection to others, and Rotary is uniquely able to help people connect and to help others. Tracy and Eric described what they planned and implemented to create an irresistible experience, and we now have a new name for it, FOAMer. You might choose to try some of their strategies or not, but either way, I encourage you to be just as intentional in your plans as they have been. Before we move to questions and answers, I want to thank Tracy and Eric. We look for really successful clubs like theirs to feature on the MAP webinars so you get really great new ideas so that you can adapt your club to better engage your members, extend your reach into your community, and increase your club's impact on the world and on yourselves. So let's get to questions and answers. Mary Ligon is Zone 34 Assistant Rotary Coordinator and a MAP team member. She's going to moderate our Q&A tonight. So Mary, I yield the virtual floor to you.
Thank you, Mike. So remember, tonight, once again, I'm asking the questions. You're providing the answers in the chat. So get those fingers ready. One other thing we're going to do differently tonight is we're going to start with a poll. We know that adapting is the way to deliver a better club experience, or club culture is important for growth. Tracy spoke about making changes based on feedback from the club members. So let's start with this poll to learn how you get feedback. Take a minute to enter how you get feedback from your club. You'll see several options there. And if you haven't been asking, we'll remind you on a way to do that. Great, look at these responses. This is wonderful. We have almost 50% of you. Oh, there we go, over 50% who've been doing some kind of survey, electronic or paper, in the last 12 months. We've got some opportunities maybe to ask in a different way. There are a lot of people that are just listening for the feedback one-on-one. Got some that are doing that stop, start, and continue activity. And then some haven't been asking. So let's look at, or remind you, I should say, a way to create and do a survey is simply through the Membership Success Center. There's a survey already created there, and you can put that in place very easily. Thanks for participating in the poll. Let's now get ready to answer some questions. So the first question I have for you tonight is, what have you done this year, this Rotary year, to adapt? What changes have you made in your club meeting to make it more engaging or irresistible for club members? Share what you're doing in the chat so others can learn from your ideas. And I'll call out some of those as they come in. Okay, somebody started a breakfast club. That's great. We heard Stephanie did that in her club. Not the same format as last year, changing it up. We have 2 meetings per month. One's a social, one's a service project. Look at y'all adapting. You're doing icebreakers, getting to know the members, meet and greets. Yay. Changed locations. Boy, I bet that created some opportunities for discussion. Recently had a game night, hybrid meetings. Look at all these great ideas. Quick, lively music. Now that makes it fun. Okay, those are great ideas. Let's look at some other questions. Enhancing engagement is another pillar of the action plan. Eric gave specific examples of how he, as the president, and others in the club demonstrate care for members? How many of your members have a specific role that connects and cares for fellow members? Please share in the chat how you touch or connect with those members that may be missing for a week or two. Some have a care committee. Someone sends cards. That's great. Sunshine committee. Call them and text them. I love it. We have a family of Rotary chair. Have a buddy system. That's a great idea. We added an assistant secretary to send birthday and holiday greeting cards. Digital e-cards, that's up new. We call them up, absolutely. Talk to them. These are all great ideas. Do you realize that your sharing activities and ideas via the chat is a great way for you to contribute and serve other Rotary clubs? So let's keep that going. How do you recognize or appreciate your members for their service to the club and in the community? How are you recognizing your own members in a meeting? Let's see what we heard. We heard a great idea from Eric. What are you doing? Paul Harris Fella Points. That's great. Happy Dollars, recognizing service maybe that you received from somebody in the club. Weekly recognized service. Shout outs in a WhatsApp group. So that's kind of like the online Happy Dollars version, right? Rotarians of the Month, member spotlights, shout out from the programs. Those are all great ideas. Thank them at the meeting, but more important, look them in the eye and thank them. That's important. Personal recognition. Another aspect of enhancing engagement is around meaningful service projects, which also addresses the action plan item of increasing our impact. We're going to celebrate World Polio Day in just a couple of weeks. And last month, we heard some great examples of service projects. Tonight, I want to hear your ideas for service projects that can be done during the meeting. So please be specific with the activity, what it is, and who it's for. This is going to generate some ideas that other clubs can pick up on. Selling cupcakes, water bottles, stuffing candy bags for Halloween. That's great. Packing food boxes. Those are all wonderful. Okay. Let's talk about expanding our reach. Attracting others to join us expands our reach and increases our impact. You heard Eric talk about their focus on guests. How do you wow your guests or potential members during the club meeting? Guest speakers, those are important. Got to always have a great program. Board members greet visitors. That's nice. Helping find somebody for them to sit with if they don't know anybody. Sharing the service that we did this week, like Eric gave us an example with the recent in Rotary. Great ideas. Okay, it is time for us to wrap up our questions and your answers tonight. So I have one last thing I want you to put in the chat box. I remember an example from last month that somebody did wine and whine socials. And I know this club has a fun theme for those socials. So as we finish up, share some of your creative theme ideas. Does anybody dress up for Halloween? Do you have some other themes that you use either for meetings or socials that could be creative? Soup night. That's interesting. ugly sweater contest. That's coming up for Christmas, right? Munchies and mingles. Oh, I love these ideas. Axe throwing. What a great activity. So our time is up. Thank you for attending and engaging with us via the chat tonight. As I turn it back over to Director-elect Patrick to wrap up, please put in the chat one last idea that you heard tonight for creating an irresistible club that you will take back to your club. We loved hearing about bingos and selfies last month. Tell us what you're taking away from tonight. Patrick, back to you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for moderating our questions and answers. And thank you, Mike, for emceeing our main program. As you've seen and heard tonight, your club's path to irresistibility is completely aligned with Rotary's action plan. As both Mary and Mike noted, Tracy, Eric, and their clubs have adapted to meet what their members need and want, created programs to enhance their members' engagement, and expanded their reach with their focus on guests and outreach. The results of these efforts, of course, is increased impact as a club. It's no accident that Rotary's action plan provides a template to grow Rotary and to create irresistible clubs. And now back to the MAP Awards program. As I mentioned earlier, our awards criteria are driven by action items, and we will release a specific membership-related action item during each webinar. Completion of these action items will determine the level of the award your club achieves. Of course, your club also needs to grow to receive one of these awards. District awards are in direct relationship to the level of participation of the clubs in their district, with top participating districts being eligible for a gold award. There are also silver and bronze awards, and any of these awards is a wonderful achievement. Like with the club awards, your district needs to show a level of membership growth for the year to achieve any of the awards. This month's action item is to report one action that you have taken as a result of MAP webinars and what the outcome of that action was. If you have any questions regarding the awards program, you can put that in the chat box now. Here are the first 3 action items to be completed. Set your goal in the Membership Success Center, create a club membership plan, and as I just mentioned, report on an action you took as a result of a MAP webinar and the resulting outcome. You can report your club's completion of these action items at the link that was just placed in the chat. We encourage you to take these steps toward growing your membership and having a greater impact in your community by completing the action items by October 31st. Now for a few upcoming webinars. You know that your club's online brand is so important in today's world. Our Zone 33 and 34 public image teams are ready to help you in this area on October 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. There'll be a webinar on how to create content. You can register for this webinar at elevaterotary.org. Our next Membership Action Plan webinar is on Monday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're excited to bring you companion clubs, myths and legends. Earlier tonight, you heard President-elect Stephanie describe the incredible success of the new companion club formed by her home club. So please mark your calendar now to attend and learn about this blueprint for success. You can sign up for this webinar focused on companion clubs by using the link in the chat. And lastly, remember that it's never too late to kickstart your membership growth. All you have to do is set your goals in the Membership Action Plan's Membership Success Center, attend the monthly Membership Action Plan webinars, and then implement the attraction and engagement strategies to become irresistible. Let's make a bigger impact in your community and create an irresistible club for your members. Set your goals in the Rotary MAP Membership Success Center to take the first step. Thanks for being with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you next month on November 13th.